Welcome to the Axiom. I'm doing a bit of a remodel in the Axiom here, and part of that is disassembling some of our cantilever bed system. So I wanted to, before I got too far with that, I wanted to show you how it went together, and it's pretty easy to do that somewhat while it's coming apart. So this trailer is a 6 wide, 14 plus the V-nose, 6.5 tall on the inside cargo trailer. It's been fully converted into a off-grid capable baby camper, as I've called it. The 3 beds that was originally built in here, they've worked great for us, and it's just some other remodeling that we're doing that is why this is being redone somewhat. But so these are 3 cantilevered beds. This one I've already removed, but they're basically were all the same. So it was a 4-inch memory foam mattress that could fit inside this space here, and also a 4-inch memory foam that would fit in that space with the bed folded up. So they would just simply fold up to be stowed away. So that one would simply just fold up. There was some swing out wings on it that would come down to support down to here and then back to here as well. And this upper one had a piece of angle iron steel, 1.5 inch, 1.25 inch thick, that was across the front of it to support that, to not allow that to bow. So my wife, my son, and myself would sleep in these 3 positions here. So 200 and some pounds of me would be able to sit or sleep on there with no real noticeable deflection to the upper bed at all with that piece of steel on there. And then it was just 3/4 inch birch plywood, sanded smooth and stained finished. And so to be able to fit the mattress in there, this back section was about 4 inches or maybe a little bit more to the center of the hinge. And this front section then was about 24 inches to make up a 28-inch memory foam bed. We just got a queen size or king size memory foam mattress, cut it to the dimensions that we needed, and it worked. And so to be able to support everything, so if it's in the down position, this front edge here had this wall to support it that went just simply to the floor system, sitting on the plywood of the floor, and has the floor joist underneath it. Nothing special through the middle of this. On each of the ends, because of the fact that this upper bed was going to have a focused load down across the back and then randomly through the front here, for 2 reasons. I welded a piece of 3-inch by 3-inch by 1/4 inch angle iron steel to the to the main frames that run along the side of the trailer. So there's 3 by 3 by 1/4 inch angle iron that's across there and across here. So that supports the focused load, just here and here, to where I didn't have any issue with a soft spot in the floor from 100 and some pounds being on each end, just a thin spot, to support the cantilevered effect. Because when this bed would fold down, there would be just kind of a little wing that would come down here, and it would rest on this section of this is 3/4 plywood also, and so that carries the load down to the floor there. So there'd be a wing that would come down here, support there, and this other end here. This bed was cut about 1 inch short to where that would go down. This wouldn't, this upper bed would not rest on this bed. So if this was down, we could still raise this up to get to the storage below that was clothes storage or whatever. Once that's removed, you can see the storage space beneath here. So there's actually a second set of hinges that was below this bed platform that had just essentially 2 split lids for this box, that when everything's in the seated or in the closed position, we could use this for seating. And then this 3rd bed on this side would be able to come over, and we could use this if we wanted to use for a table. So the cantilever support, because the upper bed would only be supported across this section, but extend another 10 inches or so, you've got a lot of forces that if I was putting weight on this end here or anything past that point, you're wanting to create a lift on this back wall. Well, if I just simply attached it to this wall at one point or another, I'm probably very uncomfortably going to rip screws or nails or whatever off of this back wall. So to be able to support that cantilever and hold this section down, actually for this one and for this one, this is a piece of 1.5 by 1.5 1/4-inch angle iron steel that is held in place by a 1/2-inch piece of all thread that runs down into the subframe of the trailer. And so with that 3 by 3 by 1/4 angle iron steel, this is actually bolted down to that and then connected to the main frame of the sides of the trailer there. So it's bolted down to here. There's a washer and nut. There's a section of EMT conduit, 1/2-inch electrical metal conduit that is ran across here. It's bolted down. This angle is bolted in place, and then the angle or the EMT continues on down. So you can see that also back here. That comes down here, continues down. You can see that past the wires there, continues down into the frame. And so that prevents any type of forces from being able to try and lift that up or create any type of damage here. So on this upper bed here, again, it was just about a 4-inch ledge, the 24-inch bed, and then it would be able to fold up and flush up against the wall. And we simply just put a ratchet strap to this piece of ball thread and then to a tie-off point here at the top to hold that one in place. So on the bottom side of this bed, there was 2 wings that just were held in place by a little slide bolt. And so to set these beds up, again, this upper bed would rest on here. So independent of this one being up or down, we could undo the ratchet strap, undo these little slide bolts, lower it, send the wings out, rest it on there, and in seconds, this bed's functional and ready to be used. Similarities between these two. So the front wall would support the general weight coming down on the front. So this bed we later made double deep for about 8 to 9 inches. So you can have the mattress plus some comforters and whatnot on there. So this was considerably deeper on the initial part. So we could fold the bed up. The mattress would stick much higher on this side, but then still be 28, 29 inches on total depth here. Because of the fact that we didn't have the bunk on here, so this one here has the same common support of the angle iron across the back, also across the front. This has been moved after about the first year, so there's actually another angle iron across the subframe of the trailer here. We previously had a fridge back here, so because there's an angle support here, I wanted to give a little bit more of the cantilever strength to this side as well. So there's actually an angle iron that comes down here and on the back side of the water tank to be able to bridge on either side of the water tank. Then there's a piece of angle iron then that connects to another piece of all thread to then bolt in with one of the hinges here and give that cantilevered support on this side as well. So again, that in this case, it's been here for about 3.5 years like that. This one is, pretty much unchanged for the last 4.5 years. After the first year, I revised this one slightly, and this one's been in place for 3.5 years with 200+ pound people sleeping on it with no issues at all. So this front wall was basically had a inside frame of like a 1x2 pocket screwed together and then actually glued to a piece of 1/4-inch birch plywood. And this was painted to match the interior of the trailer. And I think I had 3 or 4 supports coming down the center of just a 1x2 poplar with that face skin of the 1/4-inch birch. And this worked fine. 3 or 4 of us could sit on here, no problem. And again, the weight just carried down one to the subfloor and the floor joists below, but then also there's the angle iron, and a third angle iron that's on the side. Due to the fact that I had the trailer partially disassembled for this video, I wanted to include a couple of pictures with the beds installed, the mattresses installed, and set up to some degree. I do hope this video has been helpful to many of you for your build process. I do hope also that you will like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I continue to put out more content. Thanks.